Most people think of their allotment as a place they visit, a patch of ground they tend, then leave behind. But what if the relationship worked the other way around? What if your plot was not just somewhere you went, but somewhere that genuinely held part of you? That idea sounds romantic, maybe even a little odd, but there is real evidence, horticultural, psychological, and deeply practical, that the allotment can function as something far closer to a second home than most people ever allow it to become. And the difference between those two things is not about spending more money. It is about paying a different kind of attention. Every allotment holder knows the feeling of arriving at the gate, key in the lock, the creak of the latch. Something shifts in your shoulders before you have even looked at the beds. Psychologists call this a threshold moment. It is the point at which your brain registers a change of context. A home has dozens of them built in. The front door, the kettle, the particular light in a familiar room. Your allotment, if you have tended it long enough, builds its own version of that same map. The smell of damp soil is part of it, so is the particular silence, or the particular noise, birds, wind in bean canes, the soft give of the path under your feet. Your nervous system is not neutral about these things. It has been cataloguing them quietly for every season you have been coming here. This is not sentimentality. This is memory encoding at work, the same mechanism that makes the smell of baking feel like home. A house feels like home partly because you have shaped it. You have chosen what goes where. You have made decisions that left marks, and those marks stayed. Your allotment works exactly like this. The raised bed you built with timber that took 3 weekends to source. The path you laid with reclaimed slabs from a neighbour's skip. The corner where you always put the dahlias, for no better reason than that it gets the evening light. None of these are accidental. They are a record of your choices, written in the ground. And just as a well-loved room carries the decisions of the person who uses it, your plot carries yours. The difference is that a room holds still. Your plot talks back. It shows you what worked. It shows you, sometimes bluntly, what did not. That conversation over seasons, that ongoing back and forth between your intentions and the soil's reality, is the thing that makes a place genuinely feel inhabited. One of the things a home gives you is the comfort of repetition. The same mug, the same chair, the same route to the bathroom at 2:30 in the morning without turning on a light. Repetition at an allotment is seasonal rather than daily, but it works the same way. Sowing broad beans in autumn, earthing up the potatoes, the first pick of runner beans when they come in heavy and fast and you cannot keep up. These rituals are not just tasks, they are the texture of a place that knows you. And here is the thing about seasonal repetition that a house cannot offer. Each time you complete the cycle, you are slightly different. Your broad beans go in with a year more experience than last time. The potatoes get earthed with hands that have done it before. The allotment is the only place in most people's lives where you measure your own growth in seasons, the same way you measure the growth of everything else. If you want your allotment to feel genuinely like a second home, the practical steps are surprisingly simple. Somewhere to sit properly matters more than people expect. Not an upturned crate for a 5-minute break. A real seat, facing the direction you like to look. That small act of permanence changes how you use the space. A place to store things properly matters too. A shed that is organised rather than just full. Tools hung rather than piled. When you arrive and everything is where you left it, you get that same small settling feeling you get walking into a tidy kitchen. Grow at least some things for pleasure, not just yield. A row of sweet peas along the fence costs almost nothing and produces nothing edible, but it gives the plot a dimension that pure productivity cannot. It tells you, and anyone who visits with you, that this place is for more than output. Make it yours in small ways that have no practical purpose. A painted pot. A particular variety you grow just because you like the name. A corner left slightly wilder than the rest. A home is not a home because it is efficient. It is a home because it carries the particular imprint of the person who lives in it. Your allotment already holds more of you than you probably realise. Every decision you have made, every season you have worked through is written into the space. The shift from treating it as a task to treating it as a place is a small one, but it changes how you arrive, how you work, and how you leave. So over to you. Is there one specific spot on your allotment, a corner, a bench, a particular view down the beds that already feels like yours in a way that is hard to explain? Describe it in the comments because those details are always more interesting than they sound. And if this helped you understand your plot a little better, subscribe to Grow a Lot Studio. There is always more going on down on the allotment than meets the eye.